Aloha. So this is our video for IT networking for chapter 8. We're close to the end of the text. We've only got a couple left, 8 and 9. And this one, we're talking about a variety of kind of different topics, a little bit of hardware, a little bit of Cisco specific terminology. So some things that you should identify or know from this class, for this chapter, excuse me, WAP. WAP, wireless access point. We looked at Wi-Fi previously, several chapters ago, but this chapter talks a little bit more about using a WAP in a SOHO, small office, home office, or even a larger office environment. USB types, so there's different types of USB, ABC, being able to understand what those are, because that's used in networking equipment to be able to connect to them. So it's important to be able to recognize what those are. And then some stuff that's more specific to Cisco is understanding what the boot sequence is. So when you push the power button or you plug it in and the thing starts to turn on, what does that process look like? What needs to load? How is it maybe the same as a computer, and maybe how is it different? So recognizing and identifying those kinds of things. In Cisco, when you need to go into like what's called the privileged mode, so it's what we call the exec mode. So understanding what that term exec, EXEC, short for execute, understanding that mode and how it's different than just the normal interface when you connect to a device. Some general terms that hopefully you've seen in other classes, but if not, it's okay. GUI, GUI, the graphical user interface, and CLI, the command line interface. Being able to identify what those are and what are characteristics of both of those types of administrative control environments. iOS and cat OS, so not to be confused with Apple's iOS, but the iOS that corresponds with Cisco equipment. So recognizing that and how that is the same or different than cat OS. So many different devices, so many operating systems. It's a digital world. And then when you're dealing with the command line interface, especially, some key terms, some key words that you need to be aware of are argument and option, and then of course the word keyword, not to be confusing there. So in a command line, it's important that you can easily identify what is the command or the keyword, and what is the argument, if any, and then what are the options, if any, and understanding how to use one or the other at any given moment, that is important. Some other terms for this chapter: VLAN, virtual LAN, VTY, and console. So those are important for a variety of reasons. Connectivity reasons. VLANs are often used to be able to associate network devices of a particular type. Maybe you create a VLAN for printers, or maybe you create a VLAN for management interfaces or for security purposes. Lots of different ways or reasons why people create VLANs. And your VTY and your console allow for remote connections, being able to either plug in a cable, console, and VTY being able to remotely telnet, hopefully not, or SSH, much better, to the device. So understanding what those terms are and how they're used is important. And then lastly, the quote, I'm going to put in quotation marks here, the show commands. So when you're on Cisco equipment, there are many show commands that you can do to interact with the device, to get information from the device about the network or about other devices connected to it. And so there's just a general idea of show commands. So that's it for chapter 8. Those are the key words anyway. Chapter 9 will be brief, the video of key terms for chapter 9. Hopefully things are going well. Hope that makes sense. And thank you. Aloha.